First and foremost, right, it's to set clear expectations for employees. Now, one of the primary issues that organizations have is not having clear expectations, right? What do I mean by this? Like, for example, say a manager and his or her reportee are sitting in a one-on-one, right? The manager has to be clear on what are the KPIs that they are expecting out of their reportee, right? What is the expectation from them? What do they want out of them? So that is something that needs to be set, right? It's not just between manager and reportees, it's between leaders and their managers, and it has to work all the way from top down, right? Right. So anyways, so the next point is let data drive your performance evaluations. Now, what do I exactly mean by this is, so far performance reviews have relied a lot on stakeholder feedback. Now, this has actually worked very well in the past, but going forward, this has to adapt. This has to change for the new generations that are entering the workforce, right? We have to start bringing in objective data into the performance evaluation. How are they actually impacting the company's mission? So they have to know that this is how they're impacting the company's mission. This is where they could actually help to impact as well. So bringing this data in is extremely important. And we actually wanted to understand, do companies already do this right now? So we actually have a poll that will show up on your screens right about now. Right.
Do you all include objective data and performance reviews? Yeah, we're also curious to know how many organizations here do that. How many of you have at least been a part of organizations who have done this? Have objective data been a part of your performance reviews? Let us know.
So let's just wait a few more seconds and then let's look at the results.
Hmm.
Yep, I think let's have a look at the results. Right. So no, but we do talk about it during the review. Wow, that's an astounding number. So yes, so that is indeed an issue, right? So we talk about it during the review, but the problem is it's not laid out to the employee, right? You have to tell them, hey, this is how you're contributing. Have some kind of a visual way to show them this is how you're impacting that cross-functional team, and that is how they are impacting the organization's goal. So that is actually going to come on to the next point here, right? Show employees how their work drives the company mission. So what do I mean by this is what I was saying, right? As an employee, they should know how their work is contributing to the company's overall objective. Now, I thought it would just be, it would best be to explain this with an example. Let's take an engineer, right? Who is probably from a site reliability team, whose job is to ensure that the website is always up and running, right? And say one of their metrics that are used to measure them during the performance review is site uptime, right? Now, if they ensure that the site uptime is 99.99%, that will reduce the number of support tickets because the site is always up and running. So the number of support tickets would automatically be reduced. Now, when that happens, when customers don't have to reach out to support and they're not frustrated, they are also satisfied. Now, when they are more satisfied, they are less likely to look at leaving and going to a competitor or going to another platform because you have provided them with all their needs and you're able to, they're more satisfied. So when that happens, you are actually impacting another metric, which is retention of customers, right? So obviously by retaining customers, you're going to see an increase in revenue because less people going out. You can also, maybe they might be interested in trying out a new product line that you've started because they're already satisfied. And so all of that will lead to an increase in revenue, right? So I have another example here, right? Let's take this webinar for example. So our marketing team has put together this lovely webinar. There's a lot of effort that went into it, right? So what is the outcome of all of this effort? Now, since they have put all of this effort, right, if say someone resonates with this and feels that, hey, you know what, maybe we should give an OKR tool a try, right, it will lead to more people coming and checking us out, right? Leads, right? People who are coming, who are interested in the product. Now when that happens, obviously the sales team can also talk to them and try to give them a solution to their issues. So that will obviously lead to increase in sales, and obvious again, it will lead to an increase in revenue. So as you can see, right, someone from engineering has the potential to impact somebody in a customer facing team. And this is the case in all organizations. So I gave you an example of a tech company, right? But this is going to be different across different categories. So it's extremely important for all of us to identify how it is that they are all contributing to the company's mission. So it need not be direct, it may be indirect, but it's we have to identify and align them, right, so that they know, hey, this is how I am helping the company grow, right? Now on to the next point. So I think Katie mentioned this again, right? So this is something that is a major problem. All of us, I think we do this with our new year resolution already. We all set this up and we're like, oh great, I'm going to do this thing here this year, and 2 weeks later we've forgotten about it. So this is the case for companies as well. So when there is no like process or something that is a driving force in the company, what happens is things are forgotten, right? People remembered it at the start of the year, but then at the end of the year when you see, you're like, oh god, what exactly went wrong, right? Doing that postmortem is a lot of work. So why not avoid the postmortem altogether by setting up a process where you can check in regularly, right? Managers with their reportees, leaders with their managers, right? It can be bi-weekly, it can be once a month for leaders, right? But the idea is you shouldn't get blindsided at the last minute. It shouldn't be like, it shouldn't be a surprise for you, right, if things go wrong. So I'll just give you an example of how things could go wrong if you don't, like, say for example, there is a goal, right, that requires someone from another team to help out in order for it to get achieved, right? I think a lot of us would have had those collaborative goals where we had to go and, you know, tell them, hey, can you help me out, and that maybe they're busy with their own goals, right? Maybe this is not part of their KPI. Now, because of that, this goal may be left unfinished by the end of the year. Now, at the end of the year, you might not know that, oh, they didn't have time. That's why it was not possible. Now, if you had regular check ins, they can actually tell you, hey, we are facing issues with this. We are unable to get the time of the other team. Can we work something out? So, when you know that in advance, you can actually create you can actually mitigate this by, you know, doing something. You can probably go, maybe you can see, okay, maybe the goal is too ambitious, you can reduce the scope, or maybe you can be like, okay, maybe we should move this to the next quarter. You can basically do things like that, right? And similarly, even with targets, right, you never know, like for example, something like a pandemic could happen suddenly. So obviously in that time your entire company's mission may be disrupted. So when you have these regular check-ins, you can actually get on the ground and understand what exactly is going wrong and fix it on the fly. So when you fix it on the fly, you won't be blindsided at the end. So that's why it's extremely important, right?